Hi witchlings. Welcome back to my channel. It is me, your local chaotic witch hunt, and today is another installment of our Sabbath series. Today we are going to be talking about Lughnasadh, or Lammas. Has two names. I personally don't celebrate Lughnasadh at all, like ever, and I will tell you why. Literally, called Loaf Mass. It is about the first wheat harvest, which is fantastic, amazing center around bread and carbs. Sadly, I have celiac disease, so I cannot come in to anyone's house while they're celebrating this holiday. As always, we read from Year of the Witch. They talk about a whole wheat altar bread. I will die. Anyways, okay, so it's a Gaelic festival, also known as Freifest or Lammas. I personally don't celebrate. That doesn't mean that you can't. Obviously, it's a Gaelic holiday, primarily celebrated in Ireland, so please be respectful of that. It is celebrated on August 1st. It is apparently the first true autumn harvest. It is the general harvest season celebration. But Lughnasadh is not any harvest festival. It's literally a wheat harvest, and the loaves are literally bread. This holiday could kill me. It is the midpoint celebration between the summer solstice and the autumn equinox. It is the last of the 4 Gaelic fire festivals. It is named after the god Lugh. Lughnasadh comes from the old Irish name Lughnasadh, which roughly translates to Lugh, the god, and Nasad, assembly. It does have an Irish origin, but the modern Irish spelling of the festival is different. Lunasa, which is the month of August. It is believed that it is the name for the festival of games that were established to honor the mother of the Celtic sun god Lugh. Temperance Alden, by the way. I use her book all the time. I love her. Lammas is more secular, focusing on general gods and the wheat harvest. Historically, wheat has been one of the most important commodity and trade items in the world, especially in Europe. Bread and other wheat products have been an important part of feeding people for generations, and during times of bad crop, there have been full political uprisings. Mentioning July 1789, the day Bastille was stormed, and accessibility to bread may or may not have played a huge role in this. In this book, Temperance gives you a recipe called Bring Me the Dough, Thor's Day whole wheat altar bread. I will not be cooking this, but it seems fun. It's adapted from one she found on the internet by Nita Crab. Making altar bread will connect you to the energy you are spiritual practice, as well as shows your reverence and dedication to the gods and spirits you are observing. Sounds wonderful. So I'm gonna read out the recipe. Once again, Temperance Alden's Year of the Witch. 3 cups warm water, 110 degrees. 2 packages active dry yeast, 0.25 ounces each, 2 tablespoons honey plus 1/3 cup honey, 5 cups white bread flour, ½ cup oatmeal, ½ cup dried cherries, ½ cup raisins, 3 tablespoons butter, melted, 1 tablespoon salt, 3½ cups whole wheat flour. You preheat your oven to 200 degrees. In a large bowl, mix warm water, yeast, and honey. Let that stand for 5 whole minutes. Add the white bread flour, oatmeal, cherries, and raisins, stir to combine. Let the dough sit for 30 minutes or until big and bubbly. Let the yeast do its job. Mix in melted butter, honey, and salt. Stir in 2 cups whole wheat flour. If you have a stand-up mixer, mix using the dough hook until the dough pulls away from the sides of a mixing bowl. If you do not have a mixer, I prefer to knead by hand. Flour a flat surface and knead the whole wheat flour until the dough is just barely pulling away from the counter. Once the dough has been kneaded, split it into 2 equal pieces. These are your 2 loaves. Take the first piece, separate it into 3 equal parts, roll each section into a long, thick strand for braiding. As you braid the 3 strands together, thank the gods, universe, your ancestors for health, wealth, prosperity. Repeat this braiding process with the second loaf. Place the loaves in a greased baking pan or dish and let rise in a warm oven for about 20 minutes. The loaf should double in size. Once bread has risen, turn the oven to 350 degrees and set the timer for 25 minutes. When the bread is golden brown, remove it from the oven, spread butter all over the warm loaves. Let cool for several minutes before removing from pan. That sounds fun. I can't make bread, I'll die. Anyways, if you have this book, it is in here. If not, it is in Temperance Alden's adaptation of a bread recipe. Bread. So this is all about food, which is really great if you like food. For me, I do not. like food because it kills me most of the time. So it is such a good harvest season. When we talk about harvest season, this can also be a time for harvesting your manifestations, your dreams. If you have seen the rest of my Sabbath series, you know that I spend most of the year setting in manifestations for coming to completion throughout the summer. And this is a really great time to begin harvesting those ideas and moving into gathering your goals and manifestations. Because it is a harvest time, anything you've been working towards can be, obtained. So I hope you understand why I don't celebrate this holiday. It's genuinely because it's Gaelic, I'm not Gaelic, and bread. I'm sure that gluten-free flour would suffice, but it seems kind of, what's the word? It seems very adverse to the spirit of the holiday for me to make bread without using wheat, because it's literally celebrating a wheat harvest. So it doesn't just seem, it just isn't a holiday for me. And that's okay. It can be a holiday for you. I feel like if you're a Celtic pagan, you're already going to be celebrating this. If you're a Wiccan, Lughnasadh is probably listed in your Wheel of the Year. If you don't know anything about Lugh, I don't know if Lughnasadh is for you. I'm gonna be honest. And that doesn't mean you can't celebrate it, but if it's a festival celebrating this specific god, but you don't know anything about this specific god, it seems weird to me to celebrate it. Like, I wouldn't celebrate it because I don't know anything about Lugh, and I'm not a Celtic pagan. But otherwise, you can read the stories of Lugh, the birth of Lugh, the coming of Lugh, the leadership of Lugh, and the victory of Lugh. I will tag those below. Visit a county or state fair. That sounds fun. Learn a new skill. Play games. Bake bread. Bread. I believe Lughnasadh is more religious oriented and Lammas is more secular. Which is interesting because I never knew that distinction, but we learn something new every day. Time to reflect and practice gratitude. That seems really good. Decorate your altar. Create a harvest jar or container. Write down the things you've manifested this year and put those pieces of paper in the container. Hold a little ritual to honor everything you've grown, including yourself. That's actually a good idea. I don't celebrate though. Bake bread. Bread. Harvest altar such as wheat, barley, oats, mint, sunflowers, and anything in colors of the holiday. So I will not be doing that. Oats. Oats are scary. So if you really aren't feeling pulled to Lughnasadh, that's fine. If you are, that's great. But like I said, if you don't work with Lugh, I don't understand the celebration of Lughnasadh, but that's just me personally and that's just my opinion. You can bake bread. You can figure out how to poison me slowly. Once again, this is one of my favorite books. I talk about it every single time I make a Sabbath series video. It is The Year of the Witch by Temperance Alden. Talking about not only the traditional Wheel of the Year, but where they came from, the origins, history of it, and how to create your own Wheel of the Year. So in lieu of Lughnasadh, I will be celebrating Nemeralia. So if you want a video on Nemeralia and what I will be doing for it, please hit me up. That is on August 13th, very close to the Assumption of Mary. Nemeralia is an old Roman celebration of Diana. And there are very typical things that people would do, carry torches, decorate and put flowers in their hair, and walk around the Lake of Nemi. I don't have access to the Lake of Nemi, nor do I have a torch lying around, so I'm just going to be doing a lot of stuff in honor of Diana, putting flowers in my hair, perhaps going up to the mountains. That's a good idea. Commune with my goddess. But if you want a video on Nemeralia and how I'm going to celebrate, definitely, leave a comment down below. If I mispronounce anything in this video, also leave a comment down below. I'm doing my best. I even asked my Irish friend beforehand, I'm like, how do you pronounce this? He was like, say it like this. I'm like, okay. So I think I got Lughnasadh correct. Lammas, don't know about. Anyways, that is all I have for today. Thanks for learning about Lughnasadh with me. I am excited to see if you are celebrating, if you're a Celtic pagan, if you're a Wiccan, etc. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Remember to drink water. If you want, you can comment, like, subscribe, turn the bell on, but no pressure. Sa benedica.